In First Chronicles chapter 13, we see David inquired of the Lord and through consultation with the people to bring back the Ark of Covenant, which had been in the hands of the Philistines for more than 40 years, because in the days of Saul, no one bothered to bring it back to Israel. And so this time David went and took it up from where the Philistines had stopped. The Philistines had put it on a new cart and carried it just next to the border of Israel. And that is where now David took it from and started to transport it using the same methods that the Philistines had used on a new cart. And there was a lot of celebration. People are celebrating, dancing, and all that. And when the Ark of Covenant reached the threshing floor of Nacon, and when it stumbled, Uzzah reached out to support it, and he died instantly. God killed him instantly, and David had to inquire again of the Lord, and the journey had to stop. The celebration and the dance had to stop. And after 3 months, that is when now they revisited the issue again, and they discovered that that was the wrong method of transporting the Ark of Covenant. It was an idea of the Philistines. It was borrowed from the Philistines, and they did not even bother to inquire of the Lord, is it the right method? Because the method that God had prescribed of transporting the Ark of Covenant was on shoulders of priests. So the priests that day absconded their duty, and God had to stop the dance. What is the meaning of this? Today the church is using methods of doing ministry, even some of the things that we are teaching in Bible schools, they have heavily borrowed from the Philistines, borrowed from Babylonian system, borrowed from the world. And we are doing ministry using the Philistines' way of delivering the Ark of Covenant. And you see, the Ark of Covenant represents the glory of God. So we are restoring the glory of God back to the church using the wrong method. We are restoring the glory of God, carrying it on a cart instead of allowing the priests to bear the burden on their shoulders. So the priests are absconding their duties of bearing the burden of the Lord upon their shoulders, and they're not allowing the Holy Spirit to place the burden in their heart and using the right method of doing ministry. And so once the Ark of Covenant reached the threshing floor of Nacon, is actually that is a place where God's wrath came when Uzzah attempted to support it. And the threshing floor here represents a place of judgment, is a place of separating, because the children of Israel would bring grain in the threshing floor. These were places where they had a very hard ground, or rock was very hard, and it's like a cemented place, but it was on a rocky place, and also in a strategically positioned place where the wind was blowing so that it could blow off the chaff, separating it from the grain. So there were very strategic places where the children of Israel were coming to have, to process the grain. So when the Ark of Covenant reached the threshing floor of Nacon, that is when now the judgment of God started. God did not allow certain elements of inaccuracy to go beyond that. And the church is prophetically in the threshing floor, or approaching the threshing floor. And there are many things that God will stop. God is about to stop the dance if you're not going to review our ways of doing ministry, whether we are using the wrong method of carrying the glory or restoring the glory of God. Are you using strange fires to restore the glory of God back to the church? Because there are certain elements that do not go beyond the threshing floor. It is symbolic. It's an image of judgment or purification and processing. It's also a place of mercy. Of course, God had mercy upon David when he got to the threshing floor of Araunah, and he sacrificed there, and the wrath of God was stopped, or the death stopped. God stopped killing the people. So it was also a place of mercy. It's a place of processing. It's a place of separation. In Matthew, Jesus talked about the threshing floor as a place where he will take the winnowing fork and separate wheat from the chaff, and the chaff will take it to everlasting fire, and the wheat to the storage places, that is everlasting life. So it's a place of judgment, it's a place of separation, it's a place of purification, because after the activity of winnowing, he will purify and clean the threshing floor. So it's a place of cleaning and purification. And so the church is prophetically approaching, all is already in the threshing floor position, and God is not going to allow any element of ministry operation that is inaccurate, that is borrowed from the Philistines, that is not appropriate, to go beyond the threshing floor. That's why the Ark of Covenant could not be allowed to go beyond the threshing floor being carried on a cart, because the prescribed method, as I said, on the priest's shoulders, and that is where we are. God is purifying the church, and God is sanctifying the church. It is a place of purification. The threshing floor is a place of purification, and nothing will go beyond the threshing floor. God is purifying the church. God is sanctifying the church before the coming of Jesus Christ.